What is up, guys? It is day 5 of rebuilding the airboat. It is bright and early Saturday morning. Don't have to work, so we're on the boat. Today's going to be kind of a drag. It's all the little nitpicky stuff that I just do not want to do. I got to figure out some way to mount the steering cables. I've got to, what else? I got to pull the old cables out, figure out what's wrong with them. It's a lot of really small stuff that's going to take a lot of time. But if you haven't already, please subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to see on this channel, what you'd like to see on the boat. I've got huge plans for it in the future, but for right now, we got to get it on the water. All right, so I think I have a rough idea of how I'm going to do this and keep it clean. I'm gonna work on something else and just kind of chew on it for a little while. Usually something will come to me while I'm working on something else. So I think right now all I have left on the stand, aside from cutting for the hatch, which I finally ordered, I finally found one that I liked, and so I got it ordered, I got it on the way. Like I said, I'm not building one. I think it's just more work than it's worth. And the last episode, I talked about I wasn't gonna put supports underneath the foot stand, and I got thinking about it. That was stupid. So I'm gonna do that. We're gonna get to work, because I've been standing here thinking and chewing, and it's not getting anything done right now. So I've got a deadline, and I really wanna meet it. So, if you Alright, so I've gotten my gussets put in. I didn't go too fancy with them because I got to looking at it, and nothing on the old rigging has those sweeps, the curved gussets. So I kind of just went with some regular old, you know, cut and mitered, coked out the tubing, and put them on there just so it kind of matches everything underneath it, because they're going to be painted black just like the old rigging was. And you know, if I have two sweeps underneath it, I think it just kind of look goofy. And again, I'm trying to keep this, you know, trying to make everything look right on it. I don't want to halfway do anything on this, so that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I've been sitting, I've been thinking, and I've kind of got a plan on how I want to do this steering. This is kind of messing with me a lot more than it should. I know it's something that's supposed to be pretty simple. My plan is, this is where the old cable, or the old way of doing it. This is where it bolted up. It went to this bracket, but everything was so tight to the seat that it looked good. So I didn't have a cable sitting way far out like I'm fixing to. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come off right here with a piece of 1/4 inch steel, come up as high as this bracket is so it doesn't change how far I have to move back and forth, and then this way I can come off the seat box with a bracket to hold the cable. I'm kind of at that. I'm gonna tack it all up and see how I like it. It may not work, but this is where I'm at, because I really don't want this cable sticking out so far that it snags on tree limbs and stuff like that. So if I can tuck it off the farther back, the better. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, is come up with a piece of 1/4 inch steel flat bar, and kind of radius the top to make it look good. Probably cut this old bracket off, but I'm gonna try that and see what it does. All right, so this is roughly where I'm at for the steering. Still got a little bit of work left. I don't know why I was having such a hard time figuring this out. But now I've got to come up with a bracket for the back that is beefy enough to handle back and forth, you know, constantly. I want every scenario covered for this because, again, like I said, if this fails, I'm kind of up a creek without a paddle. So what I've done was I took a 1/4 inch piece of aluminum, cut 2 7/8 holes in it, and I'm trying to lay it out. I'm trying to get roughly the angle it needs to be at, and then I'm gonna start beefing it up to where it's gonna have, you know, very little to no flex. Okay guys, this is the back of my steering bracket. I've cut 3 gussets, a piece of 1/4 inch plate. I kind of made it as pretty as I could, but I think this is going to be plenty beefy enough to handle what I'm doing. Again, there's not going to be a lot of force on this, but I'd rather be a whole lot safer than sorry. So this is where I'm at. I'm fixing to absolutely blast this thing on and be done with this part of it. I got the bracket on there and it is super solid. I wasn't able to weld all the way around it, but when I pull it off to paint, or pull the box off to paint, I'll finish out those welds. And but where it's at is super solid. I hadn't even tried it out. Oh, that's gonna be perfect. And it's not flexing even a little bit. That's gonna work. All right guys, I think that's gonna do it for day 5. Since I got the cable bracket put on, I did a few other little things off camera, like mounting the gas pedal and kind of looking at what I'm going to do with the console. I think I've decided against doing the little cubby hole hatch on the back of the console. Number one, there's a lot of wiring going into that. I don't want anything to rattle up in there and short something out, something like that. Even though everything's going to be fused, I just don't want to risk it, because wiring is one thing I do not want to deal with in the middle of the night on the middle of a lake with no phone service. So any dry storage can go in the box. So I think I'm just going to put cup holders on the back of the console. But today was kind of a slow day. It's all the little stuff I didn't really want to do, but I just needed to get done. And the cable bracket was something I was dreading having to do after I got the box up there and I was looking at everything. But I'm glad it came out the way it was supposed to. I kind of dug into the front steer cable, because ever since I got the boat, one of those cables has been super stiff, and it's that one. So if I can't free it up, I'm gonna have to order another one. Unfortunately, those cables are incredibly expensive, but it's part of the game, man. But yeah, so I'm gonna hit the ground running tomorrow. I'm gonna get the holes drilled in the console for the cup holders. I'm gonna paint the console. I'm gonna get all the switches and stuff put in it. So hopefully next weekend I'll have a running boat. Knock on wood, but hopefully next weekend I'll have a running boat. I'm waiting on a few little odds and ends like nav lights and what was it, the hatch to finish the box. So that's really all I've got left on it, other than addressing some of the cosmetic issues like the cage being busted up a little bit, and eventually I'm going to strip the paint off the hull. I hate that green paint. But that's as far as I made it. I'm going to be here bright and early again tomorrow, and we're going to keep cracking at it. Alright guys, we're back on day 6, weekend 3 of getting the airboat back together. Today we're continuing on what we did yesterday. We got to get the front steer hooked up. I got to make a box for the controls up there, the push button. Put 2 dummy lights up there and a kill switch, and we've got the other seat pulled off. We're going to start getting the console buttoned up, painted, and done there, and that's really about it. We're going to run the other cables for everything else, and then hopefully next weekend I can start wiring on this thing. So that's the plan. All right, guys, so we've got the bracket for the front steering cable made. I didn't really record any of this because it's just nitpicky little stuff. But it's in there. The cable for the front steer is froze up solid. I can't get it to work. So I've ordered a new one, and so hopefully it'll be here next week so we can go ahead and get all that buttoned up and taken care of. So now we got to pull this sucker off, the seat box off, get it all stripped down, ready to paint. Everything's on it's done, minus a few little welds I got to make on the new bracket. If y'all hear that whining, that's my dog down there. So we got to get it pulled off and get it ready to paint, and then I'm gonna start working on the console. Go ahead, have it painted, everything ready for wiring next week. Gunner man, what you think about the boat, buddy? Huh? He is too worried about his antler to even care about me. Gunner man, you ready to be a boat dog? Huh? Alright guys, so we're done with day 6 of getting this airboat back together. Me and Gunner man are wore out and we are ready to head to the house. So, I didn't pick up the camera too much. It's a bunch of little BS work we had to do today that I just really don't like doing, like the steering brackets and painting the console, stuff like that. We got the majority of the little BS work done. We also added a few more running lights, little LED bars there. They're kind of necessary for fishing here in Mississippi, around the Mississippi River and Oxbows. It's there's a lot of old trees and stuff floating in the lakes that you need to be able to see before they see you. So that's where we're at. Hopefully the next video is going to be a little more interesting. I really didn't even want to film this part, but it's necessary, and it's work that's got to be done to this boat to get it fishable. So the plan is by next Sunday to have a running boat. I should have everything I need to get it wired up and buttoned up by then. My hatch will be here next week. Nav lights will be here next week and all that. Also, the seat. I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier. A good friend of mine owns Dixie Ear Blinds, which is a fiberglass manufacturer here in Mississippi. I sent him my seat. He's gonna make me 2 brand new ones out of that old one, which will be pretty awesome. And then I'll just have to get a cushion for the other one, and that'll be done. So hopefully I can have that next week or maybe the following week. I don't know how busy he is this time of year, so I don't want to take away from his business. But that is it for today, guys. I do appreciate you watching if you've stuck around this far. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I really want to take this channel way farther beyond than what it is now. So in the comments, let me know what you'd like to see in future videos on the boat, anything like that. That'd be awesome. And it's getting there. It is getting there. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.